Check, check, check. There we go. Just had to. So everybody listening is going to go. I saw TV movie, but I didn't hear anything. Oh, no.
You can edit it.
Yes,
All right. Good evening. My name is Dale Palmgren. I'm the chairman of the new East Central chapter of CEF, which covers the 5-county area for Child Evangelism Fellowship. Maybe you've heard of Good News Clubs, or even the larger Child Evangelism Fellowship organization. Either way, I'm very glad to have the opportunity to share this with you today. I'd like to begin with a short video that talks about why we do Child Evangelism Fellowship.
This is John. He's 21. He's never met Jesus. It's possible he never will. He's already formed his beliefs. His heart is hard. He no longer believes God is good. He's not alone. You can share the gospel with him, and you should. But according to George Barna, what you believe by the time you were 13 is what you will die believing. After the age of 19, someone's probability of accepting Christ drops to just 6%, leaving John on a path to a Christless eternity. How do you change his future? Let's go back in time to when John was a child. He never went to church. His mom doesn't trust them. So let's find his public school and establish a Bible club down the hall. There, someone introduces him to Jesus, who takes his life in a new direction. Just so excited, he tells his friends. One of them comes to Christ. His mother sees the change in his life. When he asks to go to church, she comes too, and she comes to Christ. And it all began in a public school Good News Club. But where did that club come from? Let's go back in time again. This is Jane's second year with Child Evangelism Fellowship. CEF trained her, created the materials to equip her and her team as they teach, and helps her raise support to work with children full-time. Jane is not alone. Her church partners with CEF to host and staff Good News Clubs in 2 other schools. And around the world, hundreds of thousands of Christians do the same, evangelizing children, discipling them, and establishing them in local churches. As God transforms children's lives in Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and around the world, making the appointments and adjustments to bring the right person into the right life at the right time. Some he calls his children, some his adults, but for each he changes the line of their lives forever, threading them into a beautiful tapestry. This is his work. But he invites us to be his agents, to join him in taking the gospel to every child, every nation, every day. Because today is someone's future, and this is how you change the future.
All right. So as you just saw, after about the age of 19, the probability of a person accepting Christ is less than 6%. Children who accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior before age 12 live a more joyful life, and many grow up to serve God and even bring others to Christ. Now, what it doesn't say is the age between 12 and 19. I think they leave that out intentionally. The percentage of people coming to Christ between ages 12 and 19 is far below 6%. I don't remember the exact number, but I'm thinking it's around 2.5. So we really want to get to these kids before they turn 12 at least. Wow, sorry about that. I'm doing this a different way tonight, so. The CEF mission statement. All right, this is not going to work. I'm sorry. Got to do it the old-fashioned way. It worked when I practiced it. Okay. All right. CEF mission statement is Child Evangelism Fellowship, or CEF, is a Bible-centered, worldwide organization comprised of born-again believers whose purpose is to evangelize boys and girls with the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ and to establish or disciple them in the Word of God and in the local church for Christian living. Now, the CEF vision statement or strategy is our vision is to reach every child in every nation every day. Our strategy is to train and equip and support workers in order to serve the worldwide in an ever-expanding way. CEF is a worldwide mission organization with its headquarters here in Missouri, reaches over 30 million children a year. CEF's headquarters is located just outside of Warrenton in Truesdale. Yes. Right. So this is basically what CEF is about today. But the history of CEF goes back nearly 90 years. To churches and evangelists in Southern California, a pastor named Jesse Irvin Overholser read one of Charles Spurgeon's sermons, which stated, "A child of 5, if properly instructed, can as truly believe and be regenerated as an adult." Right. A short time later, Jesse Irvin heard a quote of Dr. Paul Root's. Man, I'm sorry. There we go. There. If I deal with 20 adults, I'm usually able to win one to Christ. But if I deal with 20 children, 19 of them will accept Christ. If I had my life to live over again, I would devote it to child evangelism. So in 1935, Dr. Paul Root, prominent evangelist and president of the Bible Institute of Los Angeles, prayed with Jesse Overholser about establishing a children's ministry. So Overholser started presenting the gospel to children. And he saw not only did they trust in Christ for salvation, but their unchurched families became more likely to convert to Christianity too. And we have seen that in Good News Clubs. So Overholser then began Child Evangelism Fellowship in 1937, which is when he was 60 years old. The ministry grew rapidly as evangelicals proclaiming the gospel started to focus on children. CEF is now active in all 50 states and has a presence in every country in the world but one. So we're doing some good out here. Possibly. Today, CEF has 3,470 full-time missionaries around the world. But CEF takes its training volunteers very seriously. In 2024, we had 332 volunteers received CEF training about sharing the gospel with kids. Now, according to 2024 statistics, CEF worked with 31,036,873 children. Out of those children, 9,264,583 profess their faith in Christ. Now, I don't know about you, but I simply cannot comprehend 9.25 million children. So I've got to break that down to something this feeble mind can comprehend. That's an average of approximately 17.6 children per minute, 24 hours a day, 365 days around the world. We're making some difference. A lot of that was done with the 100,517 Good News Clubs, reaching 5,569,674 children. We do have other programs that I'll be talking about tonight that would account for the rest of them. Now, I can also tell you that's almost guaranteed these numbers are not accurate. They're very low. Right here in our own chapter, in our area, I've had several volunteers tell me that they've had these results and the numbers were not turned in. We've had these results, the numbers were not turned in. I've heard that several times. If that's happening in our chapter, how much is that happening around the world? So I know all of these numbers have to be much, much higher. But that's the big picture, the purpose, history, and work of CEF internationally. Now let's look at 8 different programs that CEF uses to accomplish its vision of reaching every child, every day, and what this looks like here in our local chapter. Now, one pastor in our chapter has said the Good News Club at our local elementary school is the simplest and most effective way our church has discovered for reaching into the community. And I happen to know that church has picked up a few extra members because of Good News Club. So let's take a look at CEF and its work here in our East Central chapter of Missouri. Go. All right. Did it go too far? Sure it did. Thank you. All right. 1.5. That's right. The most visible of CEF's CEF is Good News Clubs, where we're teaching kindergarten to 5th grade. Now, if the school has kindergarten to 6th grade, 6th graders are definitely welcome to come. But where these guidelines have been set up, most of the schools only go to 5th grade. Good News Clubs meet in schools, community centers, churches, and neighboring homes, usually immediately after school. They run for about an hour and a half a day, for 1 day a week during the school year. The goal of Good News Club is to disciple children and direct them and their families from unchurched homes and connect them with a local gospel teaching church. And I think it's important to note that we only use properly screened and trained teachers. Good News Clubs teaches creative learning activities, Bible lessons, missionary stories, songs, and games, and life teaching scriptures. At Good News Clubs, children learn the truths of the Bible in very exciting ways. Many children who hear the gospel at Good News Clubs do come to know Jesus as their Savior. And again, we have seen that here. Most Good News Clubs teach children who are unchurched and would never have the opportunity to hear the gospel in any other way. And it is exciting to see the kids who hear good news for the first time at a Good News Club. I've been there and it's amazing. The hope is that the children from unchurched homes will connect with additional discipleship in a gospel teaching church. Maybe that church will be yours. Each Good News Club is usually sponsored by a local church. Now, volunteers typically do come from that local church, but many of them will come from other churches, and sometimes even the schools. The teachers who teach at the school where the Good News Club is will want to volunteer as well. So during the 24-25 school year, we had 15 Good News Clubs in our 5-county area, where we reached 298 students and 14 professions of faith. So we still have a lot of growth potential. And again, I know those numbers are low. I've had too many people tell me that they didn't get their numbers in. I know the professions of faith was a bare minimum of double that. So we're still doing some good even in our local area, even with as little as we've got. All right, moving on from Good News Club, CES started the Party Club ministry. A party club is a one-time good news club with a party wrapped around it. And what kids don't like parties? Now, they can be held at schools, churches, homes, community centers, parks, local businesses, just about anywhere. We've actually held them at street fairs, at parades, about anywhere that a group of kids will be around, we can have a good news club or a party club. Now, they usually take place at Christmas and Easter, but they can take place any time of the year. One example, we tried to set up a good news club, Christmas. I keep saying good news, party club, Christmas party club at Moe's Pizza. Well, their schedule wouldn't allow it. So we set up a Valentine's party club at Moe's Pizza, and now that's an annual event. So hopefully you can come to that one this next year. Now, party clubs are designed to introduce primarily unchurched children to Christ. Children and parents are told about good news clubs where they can continue to be taught and discipled. CEF provides a plan for each club, and a number of resources are available to help the event. Our chapter volunteers and staff are also available to help new party clubs plan and complete successful clubs. Party clubs are a great way for a group interested in children's ministry to start out with the CEF programs. And a lot of times we'll have a party club in a school that we don't have a good news club in yet. And before you know it, they've got a good news club. That happens quite often. We try to do a lot of party clubs because it's a great way to introduce children to Good News Club. East Central Chapter is encouraging churches and Christians to consider hosting a one-time party club this year. One of the things we also do quite often, Good News Clubs will usually, their last Good News Club prior to Christmas break and the last Good News Club prior to Easter break will be a party club. And that will usually bring more kids in to the Good News Club because kids come to a party where they won't come to Good News Club. But some of those kids stay at Good News Club after. So it helps grow our Good News Clubs. And one thing I thought was interesting, I'd never thought of it, to help get their community service hours, Cross Point Christian Schools Student Council helps with party clubs at Coleman School. All right, the next three programs are really tied very closely together. As a matter of fact, two of them really can't function without the other. Christian Youth in Action, or CYIA, involves teenagers from 14 to early college. They go to Warrington at our home office for 2 weeks of pretty intensive training, where they will learn to present the gospel clearly on a child's level. They'll counsel a child for salvation, and they'll lead a dynamic club ministry for kids. And then there's been two advantages that we've learned, I guess, through a little bit of time from this. When the teenagers come back from being trained, most of them will help to teach or just teach the Sunday school classes in their local church. So that kind of helps relieve the church. And the other thing is, in almost every single case, they will go on in life to serve the Lord in some capacity. A few will be ministers. Most will do like what I'm doing, serving Good News Clubs. Maybe not even with children, but they will help serve, or they will do something to serve the Lord. So after training, the teens return in teams to their local communities for the summer and teach 5-day clubs. And I'll explain those here directly. The next, come on, go. Yeah. The next program we have is the Junior Connection, or J Connection, which is basically junior CYIA. That covers from ages 11 to 13, which is designed to bridge the gap between Good News Club and CYIA. And what they do is help the CYIA kids in their job with the 5-day clubs, and it also encourages them to continue on in CYIA when they reach 14. So although CEF is best known for its typical school year ministry, it does not stop in the summer. In fact, a lot of times we're more busy in the summer. The 5-day clubs meet for approximately 1.5 hours in the summer for 5 consecutive days. And again, they can meet just about anywhere: backyards, parks, churches, homes, subdivisions, trailer parks, businesses, basically anywhere we can get to set up a club. Just like the party clubs, except this is 5 consecutive days. The best way to think about the 5-day club is the Vacation Bible School. And basically each day of the 5-day club is a slightly modified Good News Club. 5-day clubs include creative learning activities, Bible lessons, missionary stories, songs and games, and life-changing scripture memorization. Ideally, the 5-day clubs are targeting unsaved kids who don't regularly go to church. Children that attend 5-day clubs are told about Good News Clubs, where they can continue to be taught and discipled and hopefully directed to a gospel teaching church along with their families. CEF, got ahead of myself there. CEF will attend various street fairs, festivals. I didn't, that is where I'm supposed to be. Okay. CEF will attend various street fairs, festivals, county fairs, vendor fairs, school events, etc. Children and parents are introduced to to CEF and Good News Clubs. They'll learn about the local Good News Clubs where they can better be taught and discipled in the gospel, and many times the children will hear the gospel. What we like to do, we try to do all that we can, and there's different methods of doing it. Different people do it different ways, but we'll typically do face painting. Kids like to have their faces painted, so they come in and sit down, and their parents are standing there watching, but we've got what we call a wordless book. It's simply a 5-page book, no words on it, just 5 different colors of pages. So the face painting we do uses those same 5 colors. So like when we're painting the gold, we're telling about the golden streets of glory. When we're painting the red, we're telling about the blood of Jesus. The black, the sins, etc. So they get the entire gospel message while getting their faces painted, and they love every bit of it. They soak it up. But during that time, somebody else will be talking to the parents then about CEF and Good News Club, trying to funnel their kids into the Good News Clubs. Okay, the next program we have, Do You Wonder Why, is designed to help kids answer tough questions after a tragedy. The Do You Wonder Why booklet is distributed to children in the wake of a tragedy. Well over 1 million Do You Wonder Why booklets have been distributed. It's a perfect example. Several years ago, right here in our chapter area, we had a tragic death of a child who attended Good News Clubs. Both Good News Club volunteers and school staff were grateful for the resource. And many in the community felt a very special comfort when the student's Bible was found in the desk, the Bible that they got at Good News Club. And inside that Bible, a note told of the day when, because of Good News Club, that unchurched child had accepted Christ for salvation. Okay, the next program that we use is kind of a 3-parter. Unite Online Outreach is a discipleship tool, worry-free, stress-free platform parents can use to make sure their children are watching and listening to safe videos and radio. Unite TV, I always call it just a safe YouTube. Kids can watch music, videos, and animated adventures that teach biblical truths. CEF makes almost all these videos, but regardless, whether they've made them or not, they're very, very carefully screened to make sure they are all biblically correct and free from undesired language and scenes that you don't want the kids to see. My grandkids love it, and my daughter absolutely loves them watching it. She doesn't have to worry about what they're watching. Next part of it is Unite Radio, which is online podcasts with short episodes that help children build biblical foundations in their lives. And they learn how heroes of faith, and a lot of these podcasts are from missionaries, where the missionaries will tell their adventures out around the world on a child's level. Kids seem to love that one as well. The last one is Unite Kids, where the kids play video games to memorize God's Word, complete daily devotions, earn achievements, and get answers to common biblical questions. This program, if I remember right, will be 2 years old. The Unite program will be about 2 years old in November, so it's still growing. Last I heard, there was only, I think, 2 of the kids' games on there, but they're adding. I literally get emails every week, many times every day, of new videos coming out. So the next one is the Military Children's Ministry, which holds good news clubs in a home or school in military neighborhoods to provide stability and life-changing truths for military children. Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri is one of 11 installations with the Children's Ministry. And our last of the 8 is Camp Good News. Unfortunately, we can't participate in that one here. We don't have a camp here in Missouri that we can use. Hopefully, sometime in the near future, that will change.
I thought west of Union there was one maybe.
It's not one that CEF can use. And I don't know why. It might just be they haven't been approached. I don't know.
Might have to ask.
But that'd be great. I'd love to have a camp.
Yeah.
That'd be very effective. We could reach a lot more children.
That'd be good.
Camp Good News is an active part of the ministry throughout the world, where trained and screened staff presents an exciting program focused on evangelism and discipleship using CEF-owned or rented facilities. Now, all of the CEF programs are designed to direct children in their local communities to Good News clubs, which will then hopefully direct the children and their families to continue to be discipled both in Good News Club and in a local gospel teaching church. So as you can see, CEF is involved in reaching children for Christ in many ways. Here in our 5-county area, we've reached 1,144 children during the 2024-25 school year. Sounds good until you realize that that's only about 2% of the children in the area. So we have an awful long ways to go. We need as much help as we can get there. So CEF Central Chapter team is looking for churches and Christians interested in helping us reach more of those children. We have a small but growing network of gospel-centered churches where we can refer unchurched kids and their families for discipleship. We're always looking for church partners interested in supporting Good News clubs that introduce the gospel to unchurched children. Excuse me. Not used to talking that much. We're always seeking volunteers to help start Good News clubs and or help existing Good News clubs. The typical commitment is approximately 2 to 2.5 hours per week during the school year or a little bit more if you're preparing a lesson or are the leader of the group. Now, our East Central chapter is also in definite need of volunteers to join us supporting CEF programs. The local chapter covers 5 counties, which is Franklin, Gasconade, Warren, Lincoln, and Montgomery. The typical commitment is approximately 1 to 2 hours per week on average, and with very rare exceptions. This will all be done in the evenings and on weekends as available. At this time, we're looking for chapter members with a calling for prayer, because everything we do starts with prayer. And we're in particular need of people with experience in personnel or HR who would help recruit more members for the chapter. We're also looking for chapter members with experience in accounting and finance, which would help set up and track budgets and or expenses, and fund gathering and marketing is also in this group. And finally, we're looking for people with a heart for the ministry to help our chapter promote CEF. The purpose of the chapter is to set up good news clubs, party clubs, 5-day clubs, all of the programs we do, and support those that are already there. Our local chapter and our local director are the go-to resources for good news clubs and other ministries during CEF's curriculum programming. And as you may imagine, some financial support is also required to help support the ministry in these 5 counties. All Good News Club and committee members are volunteers. So donations are not paying us wages, but there are a lot of other expenses. Now, of course, we're always looking then to talk to interested churches and individuals who are interested in supporting us financially, either on one-time or regular monthly donations, helping us as nearby missionaries. So as I close, I want you to think about that 60-year-old pastor named Jesse Overholzer. He responded to the burden of God put on his heart for bringing the gospel specifically to children, and he was over 60 years old. For the next 17 years, he gave himself to children's ministry. And when he went to glory, CEF was reaching children in about 50 different countries. So this is a good reminder for all of us. The Lord may not be calling you specifically to be involved with Good News Club or even with the children's ministry. But just like you're never too young to hear the gospel, you are never too old to take on a gospel-sized project. I want to thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll be glad to take any questions you might have.
That's been going since 1937, huh?
Yes. Or almost 90 years.
I know in them other countries that sometimes once, if you want to call it ministry, that I saw was them Mormons, once in a while, and that, but CEF, I just can't remember seeing them, and at least where I was at.
Well, we can't be everywhere, but we are a lot.
Let's do really
Yes.
good in the spots we're at. And
Yes.
Expand.
And then expand as we can.
So I have, I'm curious of what your experience, of what you've seen in your area. I homeschool,
Okay.
and this year obviously I will not be involved. Be a little busy.
A little bit, yes.
Yeah, and so have you experienced homeschool families within churches who are volunteering? Do they bring, like, in order to help? Do they bring their kids to attend the activity and as well as help instruct, or would that complicate the social structure of everything, or
Right.
would having, you know, like I have, I don't even have, I'm going on 6 kids. I'm like, I don't even know how many.
Okay.
I'm going on 6, you know, and I'm like, well, this would be really cool, you know, because it's only an hour after
Yes.
school. Like, it's a possibility in the future that I could do that, but it would like all or none, you know.
Right. Oh, yeah.
All of us or none of us kind of deal, depending on like my husband's schedule. And I wasn't sure, I'm like, would having those extra kids not from that school be distracting to this group of kids that we're trying to serve? Because, you know, my kids are, you know, exposed to God and stuff like that. I just,
Right.
It was like one of those things that maybe I'm overthinking it, but I have one that's 11 this fall, so potentially he could possibly be a helper,
Right.
trained as a helper from what I understand.
Yes.
From
The JU connection.
So, and would there need to be training for him to be in that middle area? Because our middle school isn't here, you know, our middle
Right.
school is in Washington,
Yep.
which obviously wouldn't be a possibility. Because these rural areas tend to go K through 6,
Right. Right.
which I'm sure you're familiar with.
I grew up
So-
in a town considerably smaller than this.
Right,
So
yeah.
yes, I understand.
So I don't know if that's overthinking it, or like, have you experienced homeschool families helping, which also would allow their kids to participate, the younger ones, or, you know?
Right. Okay, the best, real quick answer to that is yes and no. Gotta love those. Okay, some schools will not allow other students in.
Okay.
Some will. So it's school
After
dependent.
school hours, but.
Exactly, but it's in their building.
Right,
So we still have to follow their rules.
so that's one dependent factor. Is-
Yes,
Okay,
that is the
okay.
primary dependent, that is the dependent dependent factor with Good News Club.
Okay,
Now, when you're talking party clubs, 5-day clubs, you know, whatever, anybody, yeah, there are no restrictions. With the possible exception of age. Like you said, it's an all or nothing.
right. The ones that
yes.
are
Typically, if they're younger than about 4,
don't need them as a distraction.
yeah, they're going to be nothing but a distraction, and unfortunately, but they are not going to get anything out of it.
Right, no, right.
So, yeah, I would say the age would have a factor in that answer as well. But if they're, even if they're, I'd say mature 4-year-olds, you know, behaved 4-year-olds, then yes, that's not a problem.
Right. All of mine are in with the K through 6 right now, the 4 and the 2-year-old.
Okay.
I mean, not that they're gonna be good at an elementary school where they've never
Right.
been before. Like,
Right.
I fully would count for that. But I was just curious of what
So-
are the options and possibilities of, or could I send my oldest to assist as part of kind of a mentoring program for him to learn how to help, you know, like could I send him with one of the other church members? And if that was an option, what would he need?
Yes,
What
that
would
is an
he
option.
need?
Yes, that is an option. He would need to have the same training that the volunteers have. We background check, and there's like a video that everybody has to
Background
watch.
checks on
Well,
that age?
that's where it is different. In order to be a volunteer, you have to have your background check. We pay for it, but you have to do that. And then you got to read the statement of faith. You got to watch like a 10-minute video of how to and not to handle kids, I guess you say. You know, like you cannot hug a kid front.
Right.
You have to do a side hug. You know, you got to be very careful how you touch them. No adult can be with a kid by themselves. There's a lot of rules like that.
We have very
So-
similar policy for our nursery as well.
Okay.
Which we've drawn. I tied
Okay.
up in creating that policy, so I'm pretty familiar. You know, of course, 11
That's-
people, but maybe need some reminders.
Perfect analogy,
Yeah,
actually.
absolutely.
Yes. It's probably about the same type of rules.
Yeah.
But at any rate, you've got to go through that and sign off on it saying you agree. And I do believe teenagers have to do that as well.
Okay,
The background checks, we are not allowed to run a background check on a teenager.
right. So that's waived.
Yes.
For the young ones.
Yes. So yes, there are a little bit of qualification, but a little bit less than there would be for an adult.
Right, okay.
We do have a number of clubs where some of the volunteers bring their teenage kids. And the teenage kids may be, 11 years old, 10, 11 years old. They may be 18 years old,
Right,
but they do bring them to help. So yes, that is possible. Again, for the volunteer, the school would not say, no, you don't go to the school.
that's true, it gives him an opening to be
Yes.
a part of a ministry.
And that way he can still be discipled, which would be excellent.
Yeah.
But I'd definitely like to talk to you too about the JY Connection. That is an absolutely mind-blowing
What's the
program.
closest location? I guess Warrenton?
That's the only location.
That's the only one.
If you're in New York City, you come to Warrington to be trained.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
that's where they do the training
Well,
for
lucky us, aren't we
CYIA.
close?
Yes, but you basically wave goodbye for 2 weeks. They're there for 2 weeks training,
Wow.
and it's
Is that middle, that's that middle age or that's the older teenage?
anywhere from 11 to early college.
Oh, wow. How
Yeah.
am I ready for that yet?
Now, the 11 to 13
For 'em.
will have a different training than the 14 and up, because there's a lot of things they cannot do.
Do they have to have that before helping at a Good News Club book group?
No,
Okay, they don't have to have that 2 week.
no,
Okay.
no, that is for,
Might wait till it gets a little older.
that's for CYIA.
But I didn't know about that, so that'd be a really great opportunity for him.
Yes,
Sorry
yes.
to take over about how I
No.
can't help, but maybe my child can. Sorry guys, if you
What-
have more questions.
What questions you have, most likely others do too.
Yeah.
So please do ask. And even people on the video may have the questions they can't ask, so please do. But yes, we would love to get your kids involved as much as possible. We do have Good News Clubs that are held in homes. As a matter of fact, that used to be the only place they were ever held.
Sure.
And if they're held in your home, what's your rules?
Is it based on, so do they have slightly different standards, or how does that, or is it the
Well,
same?
Okay,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm
I
not
say.
gonna be holding it in my home anytime soon, we're a mess.
No, I say, what's your rules?
I guess
More,
you can
what's your,
allow more students
yes,
in,
what is your
potentially.
restrictions?
Sure.
But yes, we do have people who have them in their homes for homeschool kids.
Okay. We don't have
Which-
a very huge homeschool group in this area, so.
Okay.
You probably have more of one in Warrenton. Well, we did, except they all moved out of the area just recently. We had like
If-
30 kids almost, and they all moved.
If you have 5 or 6 kids, it's worth doing.
That's all you need.
Yes. The idea is not how many kids. Yes, we want to help as many kids as we possibly can. But the idea is not how many kids can we get in this club. It's how many. It's how many can we reach. That's the best way to say it.
Absolutely.
So if we reach, we have 5 in the club and we can reach 4 of them, great. If we have 50 in the club and we can reach 4 of them, Zitzman School in Pacific has over 120 kids. It's really hard to reach 1.
Yeah.
So the larger clubs like that, to me, are not anywhere near as effective as the smaller ones.
It also needs to be broken down into smaller groups.
It does, but we need more volunteers.
Exactly, I get it.
And we need more space in the school to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are challenges with anything you do. I don't care what it
Absolutely.
is. It's just, how do you handle it? So, okay. Any other?
What does the training for the adults look like?
Honestly, it's varying from year to year. That's something that we are working on doing. One of the members on our committee, we have 6 people on our committee right now. 3 of them work at the Warrington Home Office. And one of them is in charge of training. So Yeah, we do push good news training pretty hard that way. He's doing a training on the 16th of this month, but that's only a couple of hours, and that's almost more of an introduction. Typically, a good training, like a training that we will have here for all the new volunteers, and we can open the schools up here like we think we can here in Washington. We're going to have enough volunteers that we have to have a training in Washington. That will be at least a half a day training, if not more. And it's going through, a lot of the stuff I was just talking about. This is what you can and cannot do with a child. This is how you teach the Bible lesson. This is how you teach the memory verses. This is how you lead the songs, because you can kind of lead the songs with all of the, the gyrations on it. The kids get into it more, but they remember it more, and it means more to them. Do you have to do that? No. But if you do, again, you reach the kids better. But the training has been growing regularly. It grew last year from what it was before a lot, because we really didn't have much of anything before that. And it's growing more this year than it was last year. So what all it's going to involve, honestly, I don't know. We do have the curriculum that a Good News Club will follow this curriculum. Now we've got, actually you saw some of it at the prayer meeting. We've got the books, the very bright, colorful, books that are this big. We've got sometimes even cutouts to go with them. We have what the instructor needs to do the class. So the only thing, if you're leading the class, as an example, you take what we send you, you go through it, know what it is, and go teach it. You don't have to put it together. Now, that being said, you're probably going to have about 2 hours of teaching with that. So you're probably going to have to cut this out and cut this out and cut this out, because you're not comfortable doing these, but you are doing these. Or somebody else is comfortable doing these, but not these. So we try to make it flexible enough where you can tailor it to you, but
It takes
this is
preparation.
yes, it does take some.
Will take.
It takes some. I don't know, probably an hour. I honestly don't know because I've never done it. I don't. I've helped at Good News Clubs quite a bit.
I'm just playing.
No, you're fine. I was at Coleman. I was a disciplinarian. Yes, I worked with the kids, but as a disciplinarian. I never taught a lesson. I never taught a memory verse. I never led the songs. You wouldn't want me leading the songs. I'm tone deaf. You wouldn't want me doing it. But at any rate, I do what I do well. What I don't do well at all. That's the way most people are. But then, Zisman is short a volunteer. I will go fill in. Union is short. I'll go fill in. Wherever it is, I'll go fill in as needed. When I'm not filling in, I try to go visit other clubs just to make an appearance that we're the committee. We're here to help you out. We're here to support you. What can we do for you?
I'm going to back up one.
Please.
On the training component.
Yes.
Is there a cost investment that each person would need to make to go to the training, or how is that?
No. If the church supports, it basically adopts the club, the church has its fee. They pay the fee. That pays for all of the training, that pays for all of the materials, that pays for even materials for 5-day clubs, materials for party clubs. We set it up intentionally so the volunteers don't have to spend any money at all except the gasoline to get there and back.
What's the church fee? Does it flex depending on like number of students or what's?
It can flex, but the recommended number is $2,400 a year.
That's if you choose to lead that good news group, say at,
Yeah,
like
yes,
if we chose to lead at Martha's or whatever, like we've done in the past.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And again, that includes all of that. Includes our support.
Is that new?
I'm like, that's a hefty sum for.
We did this before and I don't recall making a payment like that.
Well, it can be lump sum or it can be monthly, however the church wants to do it. But
I don't.
okay, churches don't always adopt a club,
Maybe we didn't.
but we prefer that you do, because if not, the volunteers have to come up with the money.
Were there other church, and that would be a good question to ask Michelle.
That's very possible.
Did someone else,
If
was
there
someone else
was
the
another
lead church?
church was,
I'm thinking that maybe we did not adopt the club.
Yeah.
But it's just been a while, so I don't know.
well, it's been at least 10 years since the last time we did it, and she said we did it for about 10 years, so you got a little 20-year gap there.
The adopting a club kind of jiggled some memories in there.
So you've slept about 3 times since then.
If the church doesn't adopt the club, is it still $2,400?
Well,
Something.
that's what it costs to do it. The volunteers can pay that. We will help pay that through the committee. We've only got so much funds. That's why we need more donations for the committee.
I'm not trying to be argumentative, I just,
No, I understand.
it just didn't
Yeah,
recall that.
the materials cost an awful lot to develop, and they cost quite a bit to print them all off.
Right, I get
You know,
that.
if you're printing a book, sheets like this, that's not a cheap printer you're printing on,
No, yeah, you get that.
and full color.
And I don't know too, part of the question was with previous connection with Good News Club, I don't know if the material that was used 10 years ago would be relevant to its use today.
Or do we still have it?
Michelle says we do, but again, I don't know in comparison to what it was versus what it is
I'm
now.
going to say no. The reason I'm saying that, and do I know for sure? No. But I don't believe so. And the reason I say that is that the curriculum that they follow this year will be different than the curriculum from last year and different from the curriculum next year. That way, a kindergartner comes in, they're not hearing the same thing for 5 or 6 years.
So how
Well,
much,
we did it we had 10 years of, potentially, I don't know what she does have, we had 10 years
Yeah.
of curriculum that we haven't done in 10 years.
Yeah, so,
I mean,
yeah, it may be they've gone back over the same thing. I don't
Yeah.
know.
do you know how much of the series you have? Do you have a 5-year set? Do you know
Made up already,
how
you
many
mean?
numbers?
No, I don't.
and that might be
They do
what
all of
it's
that in
for.
corporate. I know the lady has a lot to do with it. She's on our committee. But no, I don't.
If you would ask that question, on our side, I know we'll engage Michelle a little bit more to find out
I might try to catch
her
up,
connection, yeah, with
get my
that.
kids.
And I know we're, of course, no one else in here has kids except you.
Thank you very much.
You guys have kids, you just take care of mine.
We don't have to pick any up from. Well, no, I appreciate you coming.
Oh, thank you.
If you'll find out maybe some of those answers to the curriculum question that was asked,
Okay.
and then we'll dig with Michelle and her experience with clubs previous. And then if we have any other questions that pop up, I've got your email and phone number. I'll make sure to
Right.
call you
Please.
to inquire about that. Anybody? Ms. Mary, do you have any questions?
Well, the only, I haven't really gotten, we didn't really get into, the evangelism. My brain's not working. But the only thing I knew about this was the, wordless books years ago.
Right.
We never really got into any of this, any child evangelism.
Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to go through all the programs. I don't even know if all of these programs existed 10 years ago. They probably did not. Some did, I'm sure, but I know all of them didn't. But yeah, I kind of wanted everybody to know what CEF is today. And, you know, if you remember what it was then you can kind of see what's changed. In this amount of time, I didn't have the time to cover any of them well. Kind of would have liked to have gone through the Good News Club a little better, but I know that in itself could have taken the entire time.
I would love,
So-
is there a way to get a hold of a sample copy of a one-day session for Good News Club so that we could just look at it and maybe even compare it to what Michelle had used 10 years ago to see?
Most likely Ruth Ann Brown's got one.
Okay.
I'm sure she's already got hers for this year.
It would be easier just to go up to CEF and look at them.
That can be done, yes. You're welcome to go up there, tour through the facilities. And if you want to do that, let me know. I will set it up for you.
Are there more than one teacher in these sessions where you have the Good News Clubs and the whole, program? Are there more than one teacher working together in that situation?
In a single Good News Club, you mean? It depends entirely on the club. Most of the time, yes. Most of the time, one person will lead the songs. Another person will lead the scriptures. Another person tells the story. And then,
Tended to have 4 or 5 people.
yeah,
And then somewhere around that, I think maybe Jenny was there for people, the kids who make profession page.
yeah. Now, we've also got Good News Clubs where we have 2 volunteers. And then a substitute or 2 in case one of them can't be there. Because with only one person, you cannot hold the club. So, but, you know, if you've got 3 kids, that's not out of line. If you got 30 kids, you can't do that.
Do your party clubs, like the 5-day one, replace in churches the vacation Bible school? Are they meant to do that, or are they meant to add on to that?
They were designed to add on, but a few churches will use it, yes. Now, the difference though on the 5-day club is teenagers teach them. Which some churches say, yeah, I want to do that, then all of our volunteers don't have to jump in on that. Because most churches, by far, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know already, but if you've got 30 people in the church, 6 people volunteer for everything. And the rest of them don't volunteer for anything. So if you've got somebody who will come in and do your VBS, that's something these volunteers don't have to do. So yes, some churches will use it for that. One of the things I was looking desperately for this summer and couldn't find it. Didn't go to East Church. I should have come to this one. But we were looking simply for a location to hold 5-day clubs here in town.
So is the 5-day club staffed by teenagers out of CEF then, or is it staffed by?
Yeah, I think you had to step out when I was going through that part. Basically what it amounts to, we have a program called CYIA. Okay.
I just didn't know whether to do it at your church that was required to be staffed by teenagers from your church.
Oh, no. Okay. No, it can be anyone, any of the kids in CYIA. And we always have trouble finding kids to join CYIA the first year. Now, if they join it when they're 15, they will be there. In almost every single case, they will be there until they graduate high school at least. because number one, they see how much it blesses the kids. And they really enjoy that. But they get a bigger blessing out of it than the kids do.
So if we hosted one of those here, do we still pay, is that a part of the $2,400 or?
If you are sponsoring the club, then you've already got the materials for that.
Okay.
That's included with the $2,400.
But if we don't, if we didn't host
Right.
or support, we could still offer the facility
Yes, you can.
for you to do a fight club.
Yes, you can, and it would be truly appreciated.
I
Yeah.
could say that's almost together. This
Now,
facility would, I believe we'd make this facility minimally available, if not
Okay.
hosting it.
I like having the 5-day clubs, what I call out in the field, in the subdivisions, in the, wherever. A lot of kids won't go to the church. More than that, a lot of parents won't take the kids to the church. So if it's somewhere non-threatening, then more kids will come.
You probably work
We
on something at
understand
City
that.
Park.
Yeah,
That's especially true when you're in a kind of a highly Catholic community.
yes, exactly. Now, if, okay, I'll use the park that you just mentioned. All right, if it's scheduled in the park, but it's a rainy, blistery day that day, if we have a place here we could come instead, okay, we'll probably get most all the same kids. But, to have it at a church, any church, I don't care what it is, any church for the 5 days, it's more of the church's VBS. So even other Christians won't feel they can come because it's not their church.
Yeah, we struggle with that here too.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do VBS in the park, sometimes we try, it's just
Right.
trying all sorts of things, because we appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah. And same thing with party clubs.
We're gonna look all this stuff up on the computer, huh?
Yes, yes, you can.
And I sent out an email earlier today, and I think I even sent out a note the other day that should have that link on it as well, so you can take a look at it and see.
This is our Missouri website. There's also the home, and I know if I say it, I will be wrong. So I will look it up, make sure I say it right. But the home page for CEF,
You can probably Google it too.
most likely.
I'm gonna ask another annoying question.
Please, I'm open to any.
If we were to sponsor CEF and we started in the middle of the year, is that still a full $2,400, or is it prorated, or how's that work?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'd love to give you a better answer. I don't
Fine,
know.
that's fair enough.
Because of the party club and the 5-day clubs included, I'm going to say if it is prorated, it's going to be more than half. That's my guess, literally. I don't know.
Or do they start counting on the day that you sponsor, and then 12 months later, that's when you get charged again? That'd be another way.
It might be. I can't say we discourage starting in the middle of the year, only because most clubs will go from like October to end of April, or sometime in April. Yeah, because you get too much closer to the end of the year and they're too busy. You get too close to the beginning of the school year and the kids haven't settled down in school yet. So they're too rowdy in the Good News clubs to even really learn. So, starting, in January, you got very little time for clubs. because you only got 1 week. So, you know, we discourage that, but if you're doing it with the idea that we couldn't get it going by the first of the year, we can now. If we can start it now, then we're already in place for next year. Okay, then, you know, we go for that. Does that make sense?
That
Okay.
would be part of it, like, almost like a soft open.
Yes, exactly. cefonline.com is the website.
Now, I think we may have mentioned this earlier, but with the August 16th training date next week, if we decided to sponsor, but we're unable to get very many to that 16th training, is there a possibility of an additional training or another date added on to where training could be acquired before, say, an October launch?
Yes. To be honest with you, I would say don't even worry about the 16th training. That's not a full training. For new volunteers, they're going to get very, very little out of it. Honestly, the drive up there and back is a waste of time, not counting the 2 hours you're going to be in the training. So don't even worry about it. We will. We've got a committee meeting next Thursday night. I've already got it on the agenda. I sent that out earlier today. Washington is on the agenda. We will have a training in Washington before October 1st. And that will be a full volunteer, new volunteer training. We try to do 2 different types of trainings. Actually, that was part of the question, or part of the answer should have given a little bit ago too. We do try to do 2 completely different types of trainings. One training is for new volunteers. You know, you don't even know if you're walking in frontwards or backwards. That's how much you know about it. So you need all of the basics and up. We've got another training for the more experienced. You don't need the basics, and if you're there being taught the basics, especially if you've been with us for 20 years, why even go? So we try to do one that is brand new, and then one for advanced. So
The 16th was kind of the newbies,
this,
or not the newbies, but
he's actually not even calling it a training. I don't remember the exact word he's given it, but yeah. So for new volunteers to go up there, no, absolutely not. To be honest with you, I'm debating on whether I'm going, because I don't have enough experience in a good news club that how much am I going to get out of it? It's a 45-minute drive for me, one way. So, you know, it's basically a 3-hour drive for a 2-hour training that maybe would be worth doing. I don't know. The jury's still out.
But I think the idea of planning for that larger training
Yes,
late September, you know, would be,
that's probably,
that pressure is kind of
yes.
used to.
I'm going to say, give or take some, middle of September. Obviously, I don't have a schedule here. Now, if you, I'm going to say if you can come up with, pick a number, 6 volunteers. If they can agree on a date that is a good date, then we're going to come as close to that date as we can. Or if they can come up with 3 or 4 dates, we should be able to hit one of them. You know, our trainers have to be available. We've also got other clubs. I know we're starting one school in Pacific for sure. South Point?
Yep. That's the
Okay, yeah. Well, I say for sure, 90% chance they're starting. And then there's another one that's, I don't know, 60 to 75% chance they're starting. A third one that is coming close to 50% as of today. It depends on if we can get the volunteers for it. If we can get the volunteers, everything else is in place. So we got churches that have already agreed to sponsor them. We just need volunteers. I've already spoken to the principals. They're working with us, not a problem. So if we can get the volunteers, the clubs will be there.
You mentioned something in our conversation earlier. So hypothetically, we decide to sponsor.
Mhm.
Training's coming up in September. But we know Marthasville has an open house on the 14th.
Let's go.
When would you need that official, yes, we want to sponsor in order to make that presence at that open house for interest or registration of kids? Like tomorrow?
No. I would, what is today?
Maybe it's 6.
6th. Well, not far from it. Okay. I would say if you are committed to sponsoring the church, the school, the club, sorry, then let's set the table up. I can get you the flyers. I can send you PDFs and you can print them out. How much time do you need to do that? You'd probably need 2 people for the table. So you'll have to have 2 people ready to work a table. And then talk to the school to make sure where can you be. I've already got the certificate of insurance for the school. So, I can provide that, I've got it on the computer right here. So probably 2 days to get everything together. Somebody with CEF needs to be at the table because too many people are going to ask your people questions that they have no clue. So
Now, if they go back and listen to your video, would they have all those answers?
Oh, if they can stand listening through that, I don't know. That was pretty poor presentation as far as I'm concerned.
You wanna catch a ride with someone else?
I think we're about ready. I think we're.
Yeah, we are about,
But yes, most of the questions they will ask will be there, but not all of them. I will do my best to be there if I can.